Hello there. Welcome to my channel. My name is Melissa, and I take Black women who are new to traveling abroad to experience Black culture and life outside of the US. So recently I was watching the Girl Book by Nina's video called Solo Travel for Women, Don't Be Afraid. And in it, she was talking about traveling solo domestically within the United States as an introvert. And that got me thinking about the travels I had done abroad solo and how it had been such a life-changing experience for me. So I wanted to share in this video 7 reasons why Black women should travel abroad. So reason number 1 is you extend your comfort zone. So I also am an introvert and I am shy as well. Traveling abroad forced me to do things that I wasn't comfortable with. And that was a lot for me. That took a lot out of me. I remember things like riding the crowded metro, trying to figure out where I was going. I'm not good with directions, so I got lost a few times, not only on the metro, but walking as well. Um, Things like eating out at restaurants by yourself, traveling to neighborhoods you've never visited by yourself, trying to navigate all of this in a foreign language. It can be daunting, but when you do it, or when you rise to the occasion and you actually like accomplish something you set out to do for that day, you just feel like I don't know, like superwoman almost, like wow, I did that thing. So going outside of your comfort zone leads to personal growth. Every time I come back from a trip, I come back a little stronger inside. And reason number 2 is you meet some really great people. What I like to do on trips is to get to know some of the locals. That way I get to learn their favorite hangout spots, their favorite places to eat, and things like that. So, for example, when I was in Martinique, I was staying at an Airbnb. I was there solo, and the woman who owned our Airbnb, when she realized that I was by myself on this trip, she literally adopted me and became like my surrogate mother for the time I was there. She would call and check in on me to make sure I was okay when I was driving around by myself. She took me around and introduced me to her family. We had dinner. I had dinner with her family. It was around the time, it was New Year's time. And so for New Year's Eve, she made us this New Year's Eve dinner. I've never eaten so good. Um, so and it got to the point that when I was leaving, she called me to make sure I made it to the airport, okay, as moms do, right? And she was like, Melissa, you are not just like a guest at my house, you are now my daughter. I was so touched. That was so sweet. So she came to Fort Lauderdale. I met her twice while she was over here on one of the visits. Her son came also from Paris, and then on a subsequent trip to Paris, I was able to hang out with him on my birthday. So that was super cool. So it was like my family, my international family is expanding. So that's just one of the stories I have of people I've met who have become like regular parts of my life. And this would never have happened if I hadn't gone abroad, if I hadn't overcome that fear I had of traveling solo and done it. And reason number 3 why I think Black women should travel internationally is because you acquire new interests, whether it's new foods that you discover you like, new music that you like, new ways of dressing that you like, even new ways of thinking. I remember on one of my first trips, not for on my first trip to Paris actually, waking up in the middle of the night and hearing French hip hop, and I had never heard it before. And so once I came back to the States, I got on Spotify, I found other French artists, French hip hop artists, and now like that is my most listened to Spotify playlist. So whatever you're into, you're bound to find something that you like while you're traveling. So yeah, I definitely think we owe it to ourselves to go out there and discover these new things that we like. who knows what you'll find, right? The fourth reason to travel abroad is to experience how you're treated differently outside of the US, right? So I remember on the first, and that's in different areas. That can be dating, that can be with friends, that can be anything. I remember meeting up with this guy, and what shocked me with what shocked me about our interaction was that he was such a gentleman and he treated me like a person. Um, and dating here in the US, I was not used to that. Um, so that definitely opened up my eyes to how interactions between men and women could be different and on a better, higher level. I remember other interactions where, for example, like I said before, I'm bad with directions. I get lost easily. And I was walking back and forth on the streets in Paris, and this guy came up to me and offered to help me. And what I'm used to is usually when a guy comes up to you, he's trying to flirt or trying to get something from you, trying to get your number or something like that. But this guy, literally, he came up to me. He was around my age, right? He was black, and he just said, "Hey, I noticed you seem a little lost. Can I help you?" And he helped me find my way to go. And then he left. He was like, "Oh, no problem. Thank you." And that's not the first time where I've had people come up and help me and they didn't want anything from me. Like they weren't trying to date me, trying to get my number, nothing. They just saw I needed help and they wanted to help, and that was it. And that was a novel experience for me. I don't know, maybe it's where I live. I live in South Florida and we're always in a rush, rush, rush. So that may be why I found that so cool, so interesting, so different from my experience here. Um, I think the last three reasons that I'm going to mention right now are probably my favorite reasons for traveling abroad. So number five is you get time to recharge. So this is particularly when I'm traveling solo. I love that I'm just me. I'm not mommy. I'm not a significant other. I'm not a daughter. I'm not an employee. I'm just Melissa and I can just be. I don't know how to express how wonderful that is. So, waking up when I want to, going to sleep when I want to, being able to take a nap when I want to, deciding what attractions I'm going to visit that day, deciding I don't want to visit attractions that day and staying in and not having to answer to anyone is amazing. Or just walking around the city, and if I want to walk around the city and do nothing, I can do it. If I want to sit at the park and read my book or journal, I can do it. There's nobody like, this is boring. I want to go do something else. I don't have to answer to anybody. I just have to answer to myself. And for most of the year, there's always someone I have to answer to or someone who expects something from me. And I love those times when I take my trips by myself. So yeah, I do have my daughter, but on those during my trips abroad alone, she stays with her dad. And what is interesting too is she misses me during my trips, right? But when I come back, she notices a change in me and she can tell I'm happier, and that's because I've had a chance to refresh, to recharge, and I come back being a better mom. So I would say for moms out there who are worried about looking or who feel guilty about going abroad, you know what? You're going to come back a better mom for your children. So I definitely suggest moms taking solo trips abroad 100%. The sixth reason I recommend traveling abroad is the self-discovery that comes with it. There is something about being abroad, especially when you're so traveling by yourself, where you are doing things for yourself because you want to, that you get to learn more about who you really are, what you really like, what you don't like. versus when you maybe are home and you're playing a role, or not playing a role, but you are in your role as a mom, as an employee, as whatever, and you are doing behaviors that are expected of you. When you travel abroad, when you travel solo, you are doing things because you truly want to or don't want to do them. And doing those things for yourself definitely helps you learn more of who you are, which I think is an awesome reason right there to travel abroad. And number 7, your confidence increases. So this happens as a result, I think, of all the things I talked about before. The self-discovery, the recharge, the acquiring new interests, the stepping out of your comfort zone, which leads to growth. You are stepping into you, who you really are, and that leads to your confidence increasing. I remember when I came back from my first trip abroad and I was walking in the mall, and like, for some reason all these guys were staring at me, the guys were stopping me, and I was like, what is going on? This has never happened before. But when I thought about it later, it's because I was carrying myself a different way. I was exuding this confidence, not intentionally, and people could see it. My best friend, she we met for lunch at first, the day after I came back, and she's like, "Who is this new French hip girl?" I was like, "Moi?" They could just see this difference in me, and it was because of all the reasons I mentioned above, right? Um, all that came together to make me this higher level of myself, or this not higher level, authentic version of myself, and that just like threw confidence out there on everybody, and they could tell, they could see the difference. So those are 7 reasons why I believe that Black women should travel internationally. Those are just 7. There are many other reasons, but those were some of my favorite reasons. So I would love to know what benefits you have found from traveling abroad. And if you haven't traveled abroad, I would love to know what is holding you back. So thank you for hanging out with me today. Please remember to like this video if you found the content helpful or relatable, and share also if you know someone who would also enjoy this content. And if you want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. See you guys next time. Bye.